Ayo, Thinkcard here, and in this video I am going to go over jungle efficiency and the decisions that I have to make in this game to make sure that I am using my time appropriately. So remember, you always need a ward on either side of the river. This is going to give you a lot of key information as the game starts. You will see where the enemy jungler is pathing, which crabs you can get, where the enemy jungler is heading to gank, and your lanes can play appropriately. So I'm starting red buff with a leash. My plan is to do red to Krugs to Raptors. Krugs and Raptors, just a reminder, do give the most experience out of any camps. So if I'm able to clear those initially, then I know I will get an early respawn of them in the future. So I will have an efficient path even if I can't clear all my other camps, as long as I get the respawns of these camps. I'm still staring at the minimap to see where Jarvan is. I finally see him. I hit tab. 4 CS, I know he just did red to bot crab. So I let my bot lane know to play safe, I let my mid lane know that Jarvan is bot side, and I go to my Raptors, I follow the game plan. Since I know that Jarvan was bot side, I know that his Raptors are up since he has 4 CS. Jarvan does get the successful gank bottom, but no worries, they had all the information, they died anyway, it happens. I just need to keep my head on, get his Raptors, get the top crab, and get the advantages I can get instead of tunneling on the fact that my bot lane didn't listen. So looking at the team comps real quickly, it's Vladimir versus Malphite in the top lane, so nothing's probably going to happen top. Vladimir might be able to get Malphite low, but I don't really expect Jarvan to go topside. And then Katarina versus Lucian, obviously they don't have much CC, both are very slippery from ganks. So the only way I can get good gank opportunity mid is if I'm watching mid, I'm hovering, Katarina goes too aggressive while I'm there, and then I can punish the aggression. So it's really important that I watch the mid lane while I'm jungling to make sure that I understand how the lane's playing out, the Katarina tendencies, and if I'm able to punish the fact that she isn't respecting that I could be near her. And in the bot lane we have Caitlyn Lulu versus Kai'Sa Janna. Not too much action there. If I get behind them and they don't have sums, then I can get a good gank off. So I know Caitlyn has no flash. I can go bot lane whenever I want. I just need to make sure that I have a pink ward so that my path is unseen. So I base, I get a boot and a pink ward instead of a longsword for that reason. Pink wards are hella important for jungle. If you can get your pink ward down here, it makes ganking so much easier. This bush here and this bush here should be heavily contested in terms of when you put your pink wards down. If you can get pink wards in those bushes, your laners are going to feel so much safer. The gank that just happened mid, imagine if we had a ward here already. Obviously this gank wouldn't happen and Lucian would still have his summoners. So yeah, these bushes are really important to keep control of because whoever controls those bushes pretty much controls mid lane, controls the river. So like we said, I went to my Krugs on respawn. They give the most experience in the game and it's making me feel pretty good about my XP. I didn't clear my wolves, but you can see I'm still up a lot of CS. I got the enemy Raptors, I got my blue buff, my Gromp, got my respawn of Krug, so I'm feeling really happy about my pathing and where I'm at in the game. Even though Jarvan got a successful gank off, I'm still up 300 gold because I followed the core principle of where's the enemy going, hitting tab, optimizing my path. So while I'm going toward the bot river bush, I see the Jarvan, we're able to punish his aggression. He saw that his Raptors weren't up, so he ran for my Raptors. When you do successfully counter jungle, it does force the enemy into uncomfortable situations where they feel like they have to do risky things to get back in the game. So they roamed up and cleared my pink ward, that's good by them, but I replaced it with another ward. I know that it's super important to keep vision there, just to make sure my mid laner is safe from a gank over here, to make sure that my bot lane is safe from a wraparound gank. It's just so important to keep that ward there, to keep everyone safe and to give me information on where the enemy jungler is. So like we pointed out, bot lane, if they have no sums, I can easily go behind them and kill one of them. We know that Caitlyn has his flash down from the previous encounter when they ganked. So easy punish, they're overextended. And since I had wards in the river, I was perfectly fine just walking through the river and getting my gank path. So we see the Jarvan on the ward bot side, so right away, I can go for my red buff, but it's better to take their red buff. We have wards in the river, so I will see if Jarvan goes to mine, and if I can take his, that's just really good invade. It's a lot of experience, takes away a lot of his gank power, and my champion with red buff is very efficient. So while I'm taking the red buff, I'm still looking, how is Katarina playing his lane, what's happening in the top lane, not much happening top. I can gank top, but Malphite will probably just ulti away. Not much happened besides the Jarvan will know that I took his red buff. So I'm hovering around mid, see if Katarina goes aggressive. She does. As soon as she does, I'm also going in because there was a cannon minion. I know that she wants to go for this cannon, so as soon as she's stepping up for the cannon, I go in, punish the aggression, and see if we can get a kill here. We end up burning her some, so successful gank. Jarvan ends up coming in here too. Not too bad. But the key thing is that Katarina got chunked out, burned her flash. Now Lucian's going to feel pretty comfortable mid lane, and that gank only worked because I waited for Katarina to go for the cannon. So when you're ganking, remember to think about the conditions that you need to wait for. So before the game even started, remember we were going over the champions. The only way that Katarina will get ganked and get punished is if she goes aggressive while I'm there. So I use those chunks to get the dragon. Always a really good idea to start stacking dragons whenever you can. Now dragons spawn every 5 minutes, so you can really stack dragons efficiently and very often if you're ahead in the game. So once again, we see Jarvan on the ward bottom. And I want to be able to get this crab to make sure that my bot lane is safe. I don't want my bot lane to be unsafe when I go to my top side, and I don't get this crab to at least make sure that Jarvan can't like go over the pit, do some tricky path to my bot lane. So while I'm getting the crab, I'm looking at mid lane. And remember that Katarina as a champion, she's only punished if she goes aggressive, and it's really good to gank her when a wave is not coming in. So it met that criteria. She is going aggressive. I'm hovering around mid lane, and she used her shampoo. There are no minions yet, so I get some good damage on her. I am able to barely get the kill, but once again, hovering around mid lane, punish the aggression. If she doesn't go aggressive, no harm done. I don't have to show. So remember, whenever you base, you want to get pink wards whenever possible. In this particular buy, I didn't have a pink ward. I actually should sell my refillable pot for a pink ward. Pink wards are very important. Like I said, if you can get a ward in this bush and this one, we already have one here, it's very, very useful. Alright, so once again, I'm making sure that I get my bot side camps. I want to stay on the bot side of the map when possible. Obviously, if I have no camps up, then I do have to go to my top side. But the camps on my red side give the most XP, and that's where the most action is going to be on the map. So I clear the ward in the pixel bush, and we see the Jarvan. So I'm not sure if they have a ward on me just because I only cleared one ward. I didn't have pinks in the river. It's hard for me to know where their vision was. So I have to weigh if we win 3v3. We do see the Jarvan here, so we do know it is a 3v3. But either way, if I don't see him, I still have to think, do we win 3v3? Is this something that's worth taking? If I don't go for this fight, that's still completely fine. However, in this case, the Caitlyn does look like he's out of position, and we're able to burn his flash. Jarvan's here, and we can one-shot the Jarvan. So that is why it's so important to have vision of this bush. If the enemy team didn't have a pink ward in that bush, then the Jarvan probably wouldn't be hovering to counter gank. But because they got that information, now they know, okay, Rek'Sai might be bottom. We might be able to take this 3v3. And that was pretty close. Like if Jarvan used his ultimate a little bit earlier, maybe been able to kill me faster, it might have turned out badly. Either way, that shows how important that vision is around those bushes. So now that I cleared my bot camps, I do need to head to my top side. Also, Rift Herald is an incredibly strong objective on the map right now. If you use it to take plates, you get at least 320 gold for 2 plates. If you can get a third plate, that is 480 gold. So Jarvan does end up showing topside for the first time this game. I'm relatively close, but it's really important to mention that when I go for this play, Lucian isn't mid lane. So as soon as Jarvan heads top, in my head, I need to recognize Katarina is going to get first push. When your mid laner isn't mid and the enemy mid laner is, that means that they're going to be able to push in the wave and move, and your mid laner will have to catch that wave. So it'll be their opportunity to move anywhere on the map first. So when I see the Jarvan top and I'm heading top as well, then I know, okay, we might be able to fight 2v2, but we're on a timer. Katarina is going to be here in about 15 to 20 seconds. So if we do win this fight, we have to do it fast and get out. Vladimir does a really good job of buying time. I'm able to get there, and no one ends up dying until Malphite oversteps a little bit. But like we said, we know Katarina is coming, so we need to get out. Vladimir is kind of stepping up a little bit too far, but like I said, I have to run. I can't fight the Katarina, and that's just something to keep in mind any single time your mid laner isn't mid lane. So finally clearing my top camps, and dragon is spawning. So I want to go to the dragon, continually stack these dragons. Like I said, 5-minute respawn timer. You can really stack these dragons and get insane buffs and stats for the rest of the game. Clear all my camps in order. I have no camps on the map, so I do have some time to spend. The next camp that's going to spawn for me is Krug, so keep that in mind. Alright, so dragon taken. I just got a lot of gold since I cleared all my camps. We were also still, this is still before I backed after killing the Malphite top. So going to my red buff, like we pinpointed, my Krugs are also spawning. And after I clear my Krugs, I'm going to have some time before the rest of my camps spawn again. So I need to figure out what to do with my free time. I see that the bot crab is spawning and there might be some action bot side again. Like we pinpointed earlier, there's probably no one going to be top side, and if they do, it's going to be a rare thing. So we do see the Jarvan on the bot crab. I need to take my red buff and get back control for my team in the river. So no camps up. Reminder, my camps up top are going to spawn first. So I do have some time here. And once again, remember what we pinpointed before. Lucian is in mid lane, Katarina is able to push in mid, and Katarina can move. So if I go mid by myself, I might get sandwiched by Jarvan and Katarina, so I can't do that. I need to wait for Lucian to get on the map and for something to happen bot lane. I might be able to go through bot lane 3v3 and get vision that way. I see my bot lane going aggressively, and remember what we pinpointed before, Katarina can move first. So I am waiting for Katarina to rotate so I can chunk her out so that she can't clean up my bot lane. So Katarina's coming down. I see her, chunk her out. And finally, Lucian is able to get here because we're stalling for Lucian. Lucian's able to clean up a few kills and everything's covered. We stopped mid-rotate. We stalled out for Lucian. Everything worked out. And remember, the whole point was to get control of around mid lane. I drop a pink ward in the line bush. I don't know why I did that. This ward should definitely be here. They even have a pink ward here, so that's a mistake. If you can ever drop wards in these bushes, they're always going to be better than these bushes. This bush covers so much more area. It covers this path, this entry. You can even see the crab over here. This only covers this path. So this ward is kind of like a fake ward, and like it makes you feel confident that you have a ward down, but the value is actually so low compared to where else you can put it. But the value is actually so low considering the other places you can put that ward. But yeah, going back to this game, we did get the kills bottom. We see that the Katarina was chunked out bot side. And so I know that no one's going to be mid lane. So that is a lot of damage I can get on this turret. So I'm able to get a ton of damage, able to take the turret down. Since the Jarvan was bot side, it's worth checking to see if his Raptors are up. They are up. I'm able to get some counter jungling into. And yeah, so this game is pretty much over. But it was about jungle efficiency and making sure that I am using my time optimally. And this way, even when things go badly, I know that my path is doing well and that I'm going to be able to get successful ganks off if I'm looking at the map and punishing their mistakes. If you look at my team comp, there's really no CC here. So it's really important to understand the conditions which your ganks need to meet in order for them to work. Alright, here's another game where it is Vladimir versus Malphite in the top lane again. So top lane, not much is going to happen. Mid lane is Kled versus Gragas, so it is a little bit more aggro. You have two melee champions that can set up ganks pretty easily. And then in the bot lane, it's Alistar versus Lulu. So once again, I've arranged support in the bot lane for me, but the Alistar can set up ganks against the Lulu Vayne super easily. Judging by the team comps, I think that Pantheon's going to be mid and bot lane, mostly bot lane, and I need to figure out how I can make sure that my bot lane is safe considering they will die to ganks that they don't see coming very easily. So remember, follow the rules, put a ward in either side of the river. However, this is a really good example of what can go wrong when you don't get this ward over here. And this is going to happen. Sometimes your bot lane isn't going to put that ward down. They're not going to give you a leash. They're not super cooperative. That's just solo queue. It happens in games. And you need to realize what you need to do. Obviously, it's somewhat annoying, but like I said, it happened. So I don't really have any information on where the Pantheon is. I didn't see him at the top crab, so I assume he went to the bot crab. But once again, no information. So I'm doing the standard path. Red Krugs to Raptors to optimize my efficiency. And Pantheon ended up doing, he showed right now, I hit tab, he has 8 CS. So I'm assuming he did blue crab to Bakken. It is possible he did blue wolves or Gromp to bot gank, but that would be kind of an interesting thing to do just because taking the crab is easier than taking a second camp. So I'm just assuming what he did. Once again, I see the Pantheon bot side. I know that his entire top side jungle is up and the top crab is up, but I'm kind of low. I didn't get a leash at my red buff, so I can't be too aggressive. In a lot of games, I would have more HP and I'd feel comfortable going into the enemy jungle, but I have no mid prio. I have no top prio, which means that both lanes are being pushed into me, so the enemy can collapse first. So all I can do is take the crab and then go back into my jungle. And like we can see, Kled and Pantheon actually did move together into the top side, so if I was in their jungle, I probably would have been dead. So it's really important to keep in mind the different variables. What's your HP at? Is the enemy going to likely collapse to your side? In this case, yes, Pantheon had no camps in my jungle to take, and he wanted his red buff. So crossing the map made sense for Pantheon. So I know the strategy. I cleared my camps. I want to be back around my Krugs around 430 because we want good efficiency right now. We weren't able to get any successful looks just because the way that the champs were playing and the vision I had, it was risky. So this is good. I based with 1000 gold, so I could have gotten my jungle upgrade for 650 and the longsword. However, you really want to get a pink ward. So I bought my jungle item, boots, and I waited the extra 15 to 20 gold to get the pink ward. Now, if you remember early on in the game, the first gank that Pantheon did bottom, we had a ward here, so I know that Pantheon went behind us. So it's important to learn from what they did to understand what they're probably going to look for next. So I need to protect my bot lane from that exact same gank. Gragas also recognizes this and puts a ward down here. So really good by Gragas. I was already heading here to put a ward, but once again, we learned from what they did and we needed to protect our bot lane. So we're able to punish the Pantheon. We barely live and get 2 kills. But the important thing is that we saw the Pantheon, whether we get these kills or not, our bot lane is fine. They can farm. To reiterate, they have an Alistar versus a Vayne Lulu. So anytime the Alistar combos in, it's really dangerous for my bot lane. So keep them safe, make sure they can farm, ward that path for them so that they are protected, and then hopefully they can get through this early game, and then Vayne Lulu will be very strong mid-late game. So while I'm topside for the crab, my bot lane does die again. They get comboed by Alistar, so that lane is still really hard to play, and we're able to see the Pantheon bottom. So I walk into his jungle, check his raptors, they're not there, and dropping a ward is always good. A ward here, a ward on their raptors, it really gives you so much information on, is the jungler going into the top river? Is he going to his raptor camp? It's just really useful to keep tabs on where the jungler can be. Alright, so at 7 minutes, we know that my camps are respawning soon because remember I killed my Krugs around 2 minutes, then at around 4:30, 4:45, and then 2.5 minutes on that, my Krugs are up again, and I'm in the area. So I've gotten 3 Krugs pretty much as fast as possible, and as you can see, I'm doing really well XP wise. I'm already level 6, almost level 7, and Pantheon is still level 4, just got level 5. So these Krugs are really valuable. I don't think Pantheon has gotten 1 Krugs the whole game, so the Pantheon is lagging behind XP. So let's go over this gank look. I just cleared my Krugs, so like we said, I'm feeling pretty good XP wise, so I can use some time to look for ganks. And my bot lane does not have much CC. However, in order for Alistar to be playing this lane, he will be looking to combo in. So if I hover nearby and Alistar combos in, we can kill the Alistar. So that's what I'm waiting for. If Alistar doesn't combo in, then I'm not going to go in for this gank. So Alistar does combo in, we're able to get the kill, and that is just about hovering. It's the same thing as the previous game with Katarina. If they go aggressive, we can punish. If not, then we can't really do anything. I finally go to my top side. I am still slightly scared because I don't know if Pantheon's level 6, so maybe my bot lane is going to die. So I decide, okay, I'm taking my wolves. Is Pantheon ulting bottom? Is my bot lane backing? They are backing, so I feel comfortable finally going into the top side of the map, checking out the red buff, peeping into his jungle. Where's the Pantheon? I do end up seeing the Pantheon right here. So I signal to my team, okay, Pantheon's top. That's fine. I know where he is now, and his raptors are gone too. So Pantheon is most likely going to hang out bot side now for the next at least 2.5 minutes. His raptors are gone, his red is gone, he's nothing to get top side. So I go back to my bot side. Once again, since we saw the Pantheon, I do feel comfortable going for this crab. So I take the crab, hovering around bot side, waiting for something to happen. I don't know where the Pantheon is. And we finally do see him on his gromp. We see the tremor sense. And that is because, remember, we saw that he took his red buff, his raptors were gone. I assume that he's going to his bot side. So peeping into his jungle, it is a pretty good look just because we see everything on the map. But I'm on a timer. It's the same thing with the Katarina pushing mid lane. Since I'm behind the enemy and in their jungle, the enemy's going to be able to move first unless I'm like moving in with my team. But I'm not. It's a solo invade. So I know, okay, I legit only have 5 to 10 seconds before this goes badly for me. So I get the chunk on Alistar. Luckily, Lulu does get here. But moving in is super risky. In hindsight, I should probably just move out after I chunk out the Pantheon. But at the time, you do need to keep in mind, okay, they can move first. Alistar just got here. It is a little spooky, but I need to get out. The Vayne is still bot lane. The Kled can move first as well. The Kais is almost here. So really spooky situation. But the important thing is keep in mind when you're making these decisions that do you have a timer? Who can move first? Do I need to make sure that I can get out quickly? Or can I stay and fight for a long time? So my team did have my back here. They moved pretty quickly. I was able to get out and stall some time before their team collapsed because we killed the Pantheon. We kited back a lot. I burned my flash in order to get out. And then by the time that their team mobilized, my team was able to move as well. So I just spent a lot of time ganking, hovering, looking for the enemy jungle. Remember, I went to his jungle, peeped out the Pantheon, cleared my raptors, then went into the Pantheon jungle and saw him on his gromp. So a lot of time when I'm not jungling, I want to make sure I clear some camps. I clear my Krugs again. And Infernal Drake is coming up. So they already have a Fire Dragon. We need to fight this. However, the enemy team does something really smart. The Vladimir uses his window to move top lane since he's been pushing in top all game to just come mid right away. So the consequence of this for us is that we lose all of our vision in the river. We lose our pink ward. They start dragging their S5. We have to wait for Malphite TP. And yeah, obviously we fight this. It's just a 5v5. Not too much to go over. Since I'm playing kind of an assassin-y champion, I don't want to just go in and kill myself. So my role here, unless they misstep, is to just make sure that they're not doing as much damage as possible. So you can see that my positioning kind of stops Pantheon. It stops Kai'Sa from stepping up too far because they're really scared of just getting one shot by me. But it is really hard for me to fight this. That's just an assassin champion, whether you're Khazix, whether you're Talon, or any assassin, it's going to be tough to fight in those situations. So just remember that if you're not doing damage, it's fine as long as you're preventing someone from the enemy team from doing damage. You'll see in a lot of competitive matches when Khazix is picked that sometimes the Khazix doesn't even do too much. He's just kind of sitting around throwing out his spikes and making sure that the backline is really afraid to do damage. And then if they misstep, then he'll go in. But there'll be team fights where the Khazix really doesn't do any damage, but the enemy AD carry or the enemy mid laner is also not doing any damage. So ends up being this kind of weird situation. They get dragon. Not optimal. I assume that this isn't warded. Never do this. Don't assume anything. As soon as I sweep it, I see that there's a ward down. The Alistar's still there. I'm already dead. I'm screwed. So they just TP in. Pantheon's right here. And ends up losing dragon. So remember, in solo queue, it's okay to do some risky things, but in general, risk is something that should be avoided. And that is a situation that we killed the Kai'Sa pretty late. If I just waited 10 seconds for my team to get on the map, then it would have been 5v4 at dragon. But I was impatient. I risked that the dragon wasn't warded. Went in, killed myself. That's a mistake. So whenever you die, it's important to make sure that when you get on the map, you definitely need to be efficient. So I go to my Krugs, go to my Raptors, clearing my camps. I need to make sure that I continue scaling into the game, getting my items, hitting my XP marks. So for the first time this game, I pretty much clear all my camps. We have really good vision bot side, so I don't feel too bad ditching the bot side of the map to go top side. I see that Vladimir has been playing really aggressively, so this is really important. When you see a laner playing really aggressive, this can be like a Teemo, this can be a Jace. He feels comfortable because he probably has wards down. So just showing and clearing their vision makes it so that they cannot play like this. Like, look how far up the Vladimir is. As soon as you show, clear the ward, now he can't step up. He's too scared. So it frees up my Malphite to far more comfortably and it buys my team some time because this turret is going to fall. However, I do show crossing mid lane and then I show on the Alistar, so the Vladimir does step up anyway, but it did buy 1 or 2 extra waves. And in general, that's a really good thing to do at any time in the game if you're against, like I said, like a Teemo or a Jace, or even like a bot lane like a Caitlyn. Remember what we went over with the Katarina moving first last game? This is a very similar situation. The Kled's not on the map, and so Gragas is able to push mid lane first. The Kled's under his turret. Gragas moves first, so I know that whatever we do bot side, the Gragas will be able to get here first. The enemy engages, I'm thinking, okay, Gragas is on the way. This is really easy, we just need to fight. It's going to be 4v3 in a second. So flash in really aggressively, ulti in, trade my life, but like we said, it was a good look. Gragas is here. We set up a nice 3 kills just because we know Gragas can move first. It's going to be 4v3 and extended fight helps us. And if it's going to take some time for you to die, then you know it's going to be an extended fight. So yeah, both of these games were efficient early games, able to get my Krugs almost as soon as they respawn and my Raptor camp pretty often. This is just something that's really good to do if you're a jungler that can clear those camps. To reiterate, those give the highest XP and gold value in the game. If you can clear those, even if you're not getting your whole jungle, you'll still be set on experience and gold. So whether you're a farmer, whether you're a ganker, you want to clear those camps because it gives you more time to choose to do other things. And remember, look at team comps before the game starts. It's really important to understand your conditions. What has to happen in order for a gank to work? If I was on the Alistar side, then I can just force a gank with like Alistar flash and get a kill. But my lanes don't really have much CC. The Gragas versus Kled is a really strange lane to gank. Malphite versus Vladimir. Vladimir has his puddle, so if Vladimir dodges the Malphite ult, then it's probably not going to work. So it's really important to understand what has to happen. And this game, a lot of things met the criteria. The Alistar was playing too aggressively while I was there, so I was able to punish. We were able to get wards down to defend our bot lane, and that was pretty much the goal of the game. It's always nice to make sure you have a goal going into the game. So yeah, I hope these 2 VODs were helpful. It's important to be really efficient with your time, and I can't wait to see people in solo queue doing this more and exercising the ability to choose what to do with their time, be efficient, and snowball the game.